If I was born here, for example, and I've lived all my life here, why should I not be prioritized, with every other person here? The same way with the people who are indigenes here.
If you're going to be picking up an indigeneship of a particular state, say Lagos State, and then you're from Kwara, you should be able to forfeit Kwara State and focus on Lagos State.
People are like, I am from this place. This is our father's land. I want to benefit from this place over people who move to this place.
Yeah. You're listening to The Dish on Lagos Talks 91.3.
Let's even look at the indigeneship laws. I know there was a time as well when one of the senators also proposed a bill or proposed a constitutional review or change in such a way that people who come into Nigeria, maybe after 10 years or thereabouts, can literally get like indigeneship.
Because you're a citizen of Nigeria, it means that you can settle or live anywhere as long as it's within the geographical borders of Nigeria. But you may not be indigene of any other state than your birth, yours, right? So this bill is seeking to make it that you now become indigene of whichever state you have lived for a certain number of years. So if I lived in Lagos, for example, for 10 years, I'm an indigene of Lagos. If I now migrate or move from Lagos to, say, Kaduna, stay for 10 years, I have a
So because some people then think that what indigeneship rights or opportunities or benefits is he even talking about?
Exactly.
I mean, are there benefits and opportunities that accrue to you because you're an indigene of a place? So I want to quickly go through that.
Actually, there is.
So I want to quickly go through that. According to, I think, Section 25 of the 1999 Constitution, it grants one citizenship to all. It grants one citizenship to all Nigerians. So you are a citizen.
Yeah.
However, it also recognizes you belonging to a state. That's why we always do state of origin.
State of origin, yeah.
The Section 318 that speaks to that in the Constitution. This is where indigeneship comes in. Indigeneship is essentially state or local identity used for access to certain rights within a state. Now, how is it determined? There is no single uniform federal law on this. Practice is guided by the Constitution, but state rules as well, local government procedures as well. So there is no one single uniform federal law on this. Now, a person is considered an indigene indigene of a state if, one, your parent or your grandparent was from an ethnic community indigenous to that state.
Okay.
If you were born in the state and has lived there for many years.
Okay.
But some proposed reforms use 10 years residency as a threshold for this. They also use marriage. A woman married to a man from that state, usually after 5 years, can be recognized as an indigene
of that state.
So I know local governments, they issue indigeneship certificates as proof of indigene. But why does it even matter? So indigeneship gives you the opportunity to access state government jobs.
Yes,
because sometimes they prioritize indigenes when they are giving jobs. Then admission quota in public universities.
Catchment
areas. Scholarships and bursaries. Then land allocation or community benefits. So these are some of the things. So some people are now saying that this indigeneship thing creates a form of internal discrimination because Nigerians may be treated as strangers in states where they've lived all their lives.
And that's the truth.
True.
Now, and there are now proposals to reform the law so that long-term residents, often 10 years plus, can claim indigeneship. But this is still debated, and this is why we have some of the issues that we have. Right? But what do you generally think about this thing? Do you think there truly there's a need for a reform? And once you live in a place for over 10 years, or if you're even born in a place, because sometimes a number of people are born in Lagos.
The birth one should be automatic. If I'm born in a place, I think I have the right to be an indigene of that place.
But in Nigeria, they will still trace you to where your parents are from.
To your state of origin.
To your state of origin.
So now that you've ruled out the benefits, I'm starting to think that it really is a bill that makes sense. But the problem I have, which is what I stated earlier, is the multiple or double indigeneship. So if I move from a certain state and to another state, and I get to live there for a certain number of years, does that mean I also become... So you now find a Nigerian being indigene of, say, 3 to 4 states at the same time. So if there is a way to work that out, maybe if there is a correction or something...
I think
that
once you are taking a new indigeneship, so to say, you should be asked to forfeit the one you have before.
So that works.
You should be asked. You want to say something?
Yeah. So I think that this bill is a welcome bill. If you ask me, I think it's a welcome bill, and the reason is because yes, even though some of us are very traditional, that we go to our villages, we know where our villages are, we can always go back home to get whatever we need to get. There are some people who are born in specific states who have never been to their village, who do not even know the way to their village. And they keep writing state of origin, they keep writing that village. And it's so bad that when you want to get even federal jobs at times, not at times, every time in federal jobs, there's also that quota system. So you find them having to travel to where they have never gotten to get a letter or to get something stating that they are from that place. And they don't even know anybody. They are trying to trace their family tree and all. So as Olaolu said, I think that yes, the indigeneship bill is something that is much needed. And if you're going to be picking up an indigeneship of a particular state, say Lagos State, and then you're from Kwara, you should be able to forfeit Kwara State and focus on Lagos State. But then that brings to light what I've always complained about, and that is this federal capital thing. As long
the federal
as
character,
yes, as
capital.
long
Federal character,
the federal character.
okay.
Yeah.
So as long as the federal remains strong and the states are weak, we have this kind of disputes. But if we can move to a centralized system of government where the states are strong, the states have a decentralized system of government where the states are strong, where the states have autonomy, right? And the federal character is there, but isn't as strong as we have now, then we would not have all these issues of indigeneship bill and all. Nigeria is complex.
I think another way around it, which can also be considered in the bill, is to say to put a tag to the maximum number of indigenship you can have. I mean, if I am a citizen or indigene of Lagos by birth, I can still retain my father's my native place, so to speak.
So you have two indigenous.
So as a Nigerian, you are only allowed to be an indigene of 2 states.
So if you have children, I have a question. So if you have children now, where would they trace the children to? Is it to your father's side or to you?
Society. So I mean,
your child will inherit the indigenship from your father, not
husband.
No, from your husband's side. I mean, okay, let's assume we are dealing with your husband here, your husband, because so he has a child. Will the child pick his father's state of origin or his father's state of residency where he now has indigenship?
Where will he pick?
His father's state of origin and the state where
he. So, but I have an issue with this. I personally have an issue with this because, for instance, if there is someone who is from the Lagos family, so we're using Lagos because we're in Lagos. That's why we're using Lagos as a case study. If you're someone who is from the Lagos family, you are a Lagosian. I'm not talking about people that moving from Osun to Lagos or Ibadan to Lagos. You are a Lagosian, and somebody from Osun, right, comes into Lagos and gets double indigeneship, whatever.
So becomes an indigene
and then
of Lagos
he's an
and
indigene
Osun
of Osun and Lagos State. It means that he has a right to vie for admissions in university using Lagos and Osun quota. He has a right to vie for civil service positions using Lagos and Osun quota. Now, if this person in Lagos who is born in Lagos, his mom is also a Lagosian, his father is a Lagosian, he grew up in Lagos, he was born here, so that means he has just one, and so he's competing with someone who has two.
If it's like
let's call a spade and not a famine implement.
And you see, and that's why some of these things, they are deep, because I think that's one of the reasons why they have to recall it, because sometimes you can have very good intentions, but by the time people now think it deeply, you will now see that This in is long.
It's complicated. Nigeria is complicated. I always say this is a complicated
that's a
nation.
major challenge of our diversity, really.
Exactly.
And I think it's also going to mess up with family trees. Like it's going to be very difficult. Like for me now, if I maintain, it's unfair on we women because our children don't claim our state of origin.
Yeah,
I think that you should look into that law.
You know,
so our children will have dual.
So if now, I want to speak on what you said earlier about denouncing the former indigenous to take another.
Yeah.
So it means that if I move from Lagos to Osun State, I denounce Lagos citizenship and I take on Osun. If I move from Osun, I denounce Osun and take on maybe to Ekiti. If I now have a child in Ekiti, the child takes on Ekiti, right? Then we move from Ekiti. So
it's very difficult for them to trace you to
somewhere,
one place.
Exactly.
If I was born here, for example, and I've lived all my life here, why should I not be prioritized? With every other person here? The same way with the people who are indigenous here. This is all. This is all I know. Some people the place they claim is their state of origin. They've never been there before.
Yeah. And
they've never been there before. They don't even know how to go. They don't even know where to start.
They don't even know anybody there.
So, and they're saying I'm from here.
But for the fact that their parents are from that state, that already qualifies them.
So I feel like one of the things that the indigenship structure we have today is supposed to encourage or supposed to ensure is that people keep themselves rooted with their origin, regardless of where they go.
Yeah.
So even if you live in Borno, or you live in Calabar, or you live in Enugu, and you are from Ekiti, you are still expected to keep in touch with Ekiti, because well, worst case scenario, that's the state you can claim really
as
like
yours.
that when it comes to
That's where you
indigenship.
really belong.
No, you are in Nigeria. No, you can live everywhere. You can do business everywhere. But when it comes to the benefits that go along with indigenship, that is where you are from.
And the truth is, you are first. If you're a Lagosian, you're first a Lagosian before you are a Nigerian.
I beg to differ.
No. Constitutionally, you are first in Nigeria.
Yeah, constitutionally, you're first in Nigeria. But when it comes to benefits, when it comes to
spiritually,
which one is spiritually? No, I'm talking about benefits. When it comes to benefits, when it comes to
benefits at the state level,
at the state.
Do you know how many things you benefit as being a Nigerian? Okay. You cannot even compare it to what you benefit as being a Lagosian.
If you want to get a federal job now as a Nigerian, tell me.
The federal character thing.
You first of all have to be a Nigerian.
If you're not a Nigerian,
have to first of all be a Nigerian. But the truth is this: in benefits, and I don't know. I know a lot of us. It is a touching.
It's just for balanced representation.
Some benefits.
The federal character thing.
Benefits, not all.
The federal character thing is just for balanced representation,
ladies,
for equal opportunities.
No, I think most people just want to stay closer to their homes. When it comes to, especially for university, people trying to gain admission into school, they consider schools that are closer to where they are based before going down to their hometown.
Before going down to their hometown.
That's mostly the case sometimes.
So it takes parents that are informed that would say, go back to your state of origin, because most times in getting schools, what people do is that, like, I know for me, the choice of my own schooling, of where I went to university, was based on the fact that at that period my father was in that state working.
Okay.
So it informed the decision.
In your state of origin?
Not in my state of origin. Okay. It was in another state, completely different state. So because my father was in that state, it was a choice of we either staying in the state where my mother or our family, our secondary family house, because our first family house is in the village, where our secondary family house is, or staying where my father was staying. So a huge chunk of us went to that state where my dad was. Then my younger sister went to our state of origin because of her course, and that was where they told us that it was going to be easier for her to stay. So nobody really stayed close by, because parents want where someone can easily hop into check on their children, because we had so many surprise visits. You just say your parents are at the gate and all. So that's
Jaja says the problem with Nigerians is that we scream and force people to bend to the one Nigeria mantra But when it comes to practicing that one Nigeria, we all remember that we are not one, and we start playing the ethnic card. For me, I would prefer Nigerians to embrace our ethnic bigotry and go our separate ways. The pretense is costing us too much. I know there are a number of people who are of this opinion. Nigerians, I just feel like this thing is not rocket science.
It's not
this
rocket science.
This thing is actually not rocket science. If people just agree to play by the rules. But the issue is that I feel like sometimes when these rules don't favor the way certain people have chosen to live their lives,
cry wolf.
And that's why I'm a believer of, if this is the rule, when you get into a place and this is the rule, even if you don't want to play by the rule and you're allowed to not play by the rule, but be very comfortable with not benefiting from what the benefits that the rule gives to people who play by the rules.
Honestly,
but if you don't want to play by the rules, you still want the same benefit.
It's not possible.
So because of that, you now want them to remove the rule
for you,
so that you
for
can
you. I feel
the
like
truth is that we are a complicated society, right? And sadly, we've not had a government that understands that complexity and is ready to work it out to benefit all. I believe in equity, right? We may not be equal, but we can have access to opportunities at different levels and still feel good about it. So until we have a system that recognizes this complexity and work things out in a corner. I mean, somebody gave an example of where you write an exam and your cutoff mark is way higher than somebody from another state just because it is believed that whatever belief that drives that, if I have lived my life here, this is where I've known all the days of my life, then I'm automatically an indigene of that place.
Okay, so if we're going to go by that, then let's have opportunities to renounce where you're coming from.
So I don't think you necessarily have to renounce, really.
No,
you can't eat your cake and have it
comes because there's already a structure around indigeneship from where you are from. So it's either we do away with the law, we review the constitution to recognize everybody just based on where they live and not where they come from, or if we're going to retain the indigeneship law, we're still going to have to review it in such a way that for you to now make your place of residence where you claim indigene of, then you're going to have to renounce them. Because when we begin to have like multiple indigeneship,
you're claiming everywhere.
We are also creating another inequality. Because there are certain people who are just going to be from one place, live there.
Because let me say something. If you're going to go by that, then I would not only claim Anambra State, I'm going to claim Isaleko because I was born in Island Maternity and I grew up in Lagos. You understand? So it's going to be very unfair.
If we ask people not to renounce, which state is going to be most affected?
What I have to say is, we are too complex in nature.
Exactly.
You see, this thing is even going to cause further problems than even solving in the first place. Now, it's already in existence. Okay, what they need to do is, how do we modify it? Now we have 774 local government areas. How do we centralize our systems whereby anywhere anybody is born, you have a certificate as like, for instance, a place of birth, whether you're from Kwara or you're from Lagos.
We do have that. We do have that.
Like I have now from.
No. The problem we are having is we don't focus on merit. We focus on mediocrity.
Okay.
Now, if I'm born in, for instance, I was born in Lagos, okay, and I'm from Rivers State. Now, whatever I want to do in Lagos, so long as I am qualified or I have the capacity to handle it, whether I'm applying for chieftaincy or I'm applying for scholarship whatsoever, so long as I meet the criteria, maybe I pass the exams and all that, I get it. There's no issue of catchment area, no issue of quota system and all that. You focus on excellence, everything will be smooth, everything will be straight and smooth. But in this case, where you try to favor one person over the other, you come up with laws that will benefit one person over the other. At the end of the day, you deprive those who are qualified to even handle certain positions in your own state, competent people. Like many years back, I could remember exams that we took in one of these parastatals for NDIC then. For like myself, I passed through all the steps. In fact, I got to the end. I was one of the best and all that. I got to the end. At the end of the day, what what shifted me was that I'm not part of, I've not fallen into the quota system for Lagos, that I should go back to my own states and all that. You know, so things like that, you deny people who are supposed to benefit from this.
But hold on, what if you had written the same exam in your state? What stopped you from doing it in your state?
What stopped me from going to my state to write?
Yes.
Knowing fully well that you know the kind of country we are, you have a state of origin.
Okay, I have a state in origin, but my place of birth is Lagos.
Sorry, have you ever
Lagos.
But you know,
has it been to his state of origin before?
If I've done the exams, and at the end of the day, I'm either the best or one of the best, nothing stops me from getting it. Whether I speak the Yoruba or I don't speak the Yoruba, that's what I'm saying. If we focus on excellence,
all right,
forget about this issue of
indigeneship
and all that. Just focus on excellence, meritocracy. I think it will be good for each and every one of us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think that's leading back to the issue where the truth is we have some people who were born in Anambra State and they've never ever gone to
Anambra.
They were born. We had some people that were born in Anambra State, because I was amazed that we have Hausa people in Anambra State. I was amazed we have Yoruba people, and they've never been to their state of origin. And we have the same with people in Lagos, people in Ibadan, people in a lot of places. So I think the issue right now is that there are people who are born in certain states and they have never, for whatever reason, gone to their village. They do not know where their village is. They do not even know anybody in their village. Maybe they are westernized in Lagos or wherever they are staying in. So I think that is the issue, because
I don't think that's the case for him. He says that he's lived all his life in Lagos. So I want to believe that the reason he didn't take the said exam in his state of origin was because he would be deployed there. So why have to migrate all the way to your state of origin when you can have access to the same opportunity?
The never going there is not the issue.
It's not the issue here.
So I do you know why I asked that question? Because of the law that is on ground. I know it looks a little bit unfair, but then if we want to go by, because if you want to go by the concentration. I mean, I was about to say something now. There are opportunities like this as well, that are supposed to be from where you come from. Don't forget that this tracing people and their generations to one place, it has its own benefit. Like it just makes your
family tree easier
to identify and trace. If you mess it up with everybody should just take on where they are and take on where they are. Yes, it will fix certain problems, but it will also create
deeper rooted
certain problems. Because then if we all understand that, yes, there's citizenship, there's indigeneship, when it comes to certain things, indigeneship applies. Let me go back to my place, my roots, and go and take advantage of those opportunities in my place. We will not even have this problem.
Be domesticated there. Because you cannot,
not necessarily domesticated. Because let me explain. Let me explain. Not necessarily, because if you're working in any of the federal parastatal, your place of posting has nothing to do with your indigenship. They can decide to post it to Abuja. They can decide to send it to Lagos. They can send you to Port Harcourt. They can send you anywhere. So for federal jobs, you're not going to be domiciled where in your state of origin.
For me, I think.
But so what I think maybe this person is talking about now. Let me quickly speak of that cut-off mark thing. Is that sometimes that also was put in place to achieve some sort of equity.
Yes.
Now let's say there are 100,000 slots for a particular education position, and if most of the people who passed, or if you put one cut-off mark for everybody in the state, there's a probability that the bigger chunk or majority of the people who would qualify for that thing would be from a part of the country.
That's true.
Yes, I mean, it will be concentrated, and that's why. No, because
level of exposure,
development, population, even culture, things like culture and all of that. It's a probability that if you go by that, it looks like equality. It looks like
inequality,
merit, but it will mean that there are some parts of this country. That's what they say, that they're literally just encouraging them
to go to school.
Embrace
to embrace education.
So I mean,
so why should others be bearing the brunt of that?
So I don't want us to see it as bearing the brunt of that, and that's because currently we are practicing a federal system of government where everybody has to be involved. Everybody has to be involved. Now, even with all this, we still have situations whereby people are screaming that they are being marginalized. People are screaming that they need autonomy, they are being marginalized, blah, 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 and all. So if you say that, just imagine that people from one particular state or one particular region or two particular regions are occupying some seats and the other region isn't there. Now, what's going to happen is you may be thinking
they are competent.
You may be thinking it's just a matter of competence, but the truth is that in handling anything in Nigeria, you have to be first of all diverse. We need everybody's opinion on the table. We need
everybody's representation.
Everybody's representation. You cannot take a decision for somebody else because it would affect a lot of things. It could mean
you would have to lower the bar for some people.
Exactly.
If you want them to be
I
involved.
understand. Like I said earlier, I agree with the concept of equity. I understand the concept of equity. But I think in Nigeria's context, we confuse it for disadvantage to the disadvantage towards other people, which equates advantage towards other people, right? There can be equity. Everybody can have access to education, to opportunities, right? But others should not be denied because other people have to be accommodated.
Do you know why denial is happening? It's because the resources is scarce.
The resources are limited.
See, the way our education system is. No, hold on. If you look at our education system, let's say Unilag, for example, they know that. I mean, to an extent, they feel like if we do this exam and we do it this way, not everybody that wrote this exam will pass.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a way to take some people and not take some people. Now, there has to be a way also to take people from almost every part of the country because it's a federal institution. So we can't, if we want to do just merit, there's a probability that most of the people will be taken will be concentrated in one part of the country. So there has to be a way to, first of all, we cannot take everybody. This thing cannot be for everybody.
It cannot be for everybody.
And that's why, despite the fact that we have federal institutions, we still have state institutions. We still have state tertiary institutions so that, certain things, I mean, if you cannot meet up on the federal level, you should explore the state level. But, sometimes, some of us, we have our own personal goals. We have our own personal places we want to live, things we want to do. And we feel like because we are capable of it, I mean, we have the mental capacity to do it, we have to be given the opportunity. And I understand the frustration. But unfortunately, if because of the other people too, who, maybe they are not, maybe they are not on the same level with you by your standards. Yeah. I mean,
when we begin to have this conversation on a deeper level, you may be tempted to want to begin to consider the opinion of those who belong to the school of thought that maybe Nigeria is not really Nigeria in quotes, right?
So let me say this. Let me say this right now. Back to what Olaolu was talking about, the quota system and all. This is it. If you know that you want to get into certain federal systems of government or federal universities, now within your area, right? So if on the average, because the truth is biological makeup, a lot of things come into your intellect and all. Why don't you compete favorably with those people from your particular geopolitical or whatever zone? Compete with them. Come out as the best, and then you'll be given this opportunity. I don't think that's not fair. I think that's fair.
Now, another thing, Chizoba, is that I also think it's unfair to say that maybe, for example, for a state's job opportunities, only indigenes of that state that are considered.
Okay, no, that's unfair.
That's also unfair.
That's unfair. I feel
that they have a quota for indigenes doesn't mean that it is only indigenes that get that job.
Some
even residents do get that. They have like a selected slot that we want to take 500 indigenes. Doesn't mean that they are not also giving room for people who are not indigenes to participate in that program. But because some people just feel like because there are certain people who just have like an automatic, because they are indigenes, they just have an edge. and you see the problem with
think
Nigerians, Nigerians that have issues with people that have edge, is that if they had that edge, they will not complain.
I think the reason some people complain over that is because you now see competence sacrificed at the altar of indigenship. So even when you're not exactly fit for the job, when you get it because.
But if you go to your own state, you also have that kind of opportunity.
But you know what? You could compete. Okay. So this is it. You could compete favorably well and in another state, and you get into your state and you're not.
I'm just saying that is one of the downside, the disadvantage of
you go to your state, you're not getting a 50.
Oh God, indigenship thing. That is one of the disadvantage. The fact that it then seems like competence is sacrificed at the altar of indigenship.
So
it doesn't matter if you know the job or not.
Let's
because
say,
you are from these states.
Let's say there's 1,000 slots of jobs for a state government, and out of that 1,000, they said we are going to give 300 to indigens.
No, I think indigens usually have more.
Okay, I'm just saying. Let's say we're going to give 500.
No, let's say
600.
Let's say 600 so that you'll be happy.
Let's say 600.
Really?
So that Oiza will be happy.
Oiza, yes. Let's say we're going to give 600 to the indigens. Don't forget that 600 is going to the best indigens in that place.
That's the truth.
One, and don't forget the other 400 is also going to the best of every other person that is
in that state.
Yeah. You think so that you do not see because that you do not qualify as in the 400. You now begin to feel like hold on.
Oiza, there's merit list. I know what Oiza is trying to say. Oiza is trying to say that some people will get in through the back doors or because they know somebody, but don't forget that there's also something called merit list.
Okay, so does the merit list always cover the quota of people?
Yes,
it doesn't.
It covers everyone.
But the issue is that there's a merit list, and I think the uni I got into, I didn't get into it.
I'm not even talking about
because of quota.
Now. I'm talking of.
I got into
let's look at it from
the federal institution I went
to. Even in admission. People get in just because you are indigene. So if you did say there's a merit list, the merit list is filled, and there's still space in the quota. Let's just put people in. You're from this state. That is what I think is a major disadvantage of the indigenship.
But you see, one thing I want to say to this is that I think Nigerians want unity, but I think that Nigerians don't want to sacrifice who they are and where they come from.
Exactly,
and it is not something. I feel like it's okay. It's not something you can impose.
Be different and united.
Yes, Nigerians want to. Yes, they want to
maintain our sense of identity,
our sense of where we come from.
But we then
and they want to benefit from it accordingly.
I don't think that.
For example, people want to be like, I am an indigene of that. You don't want it doesn't mean people don't want it. Some people do, and your own right need to not want it. I mean, if it doesn't matter to you.
It's valid.
It doesn't mean that it shouldn't matter to everybody.
It matters to the other person. It's valid.
People are like, the other person I am from this place. This is our father's land. I want to benefit from this place over people who move to this place.
Yeah.
I mean, that some people don't really, because it doesn't favor you or because you're not from that. It doesn't mean other people won't care about it.
For example,
I don't think it's a weird thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing. See, is that because for one, I'm proud of where I'm coming from. I'm proud of my state of origin. I value my state of origin. Yes, I am grateful for where I am staying, where I was born and all. But really, I can't give up my state of origin.
Like I said,
for for my state of birth. I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't expect anybody to do that, and I wouldn't want any law that will compel me or anybody to do that.
I don't have a problem with each person identifying with where they're from. Right, I think I said it on the show. Was it on Monday that we have this innate identification with where we're from? It feels like a part of our identity. I would be proud to say it anywhere. I am Ibira, right? But I think the only thing that can really solve this problem, which I think is the reason why people who have lived their life in a certain place have become established there, is because they feel there's this sense of development that is
happening there,
happening where they are, that has helped them to grow their life, establish themselves, and so it becomes a bit difficult to say, go and get the benefits from your own state of origin, right?
Okay,
And I
move
don't blame them for that. I think they are also entitled to have that kind of mindset. If I have lived all my life here, I think I'm also
Entitled.
they should be
No, I
permitted.
understand
but the
what
question
Oiza
now-
is
I should be
trying to
permitted
say.
to enjoy the benefits of
Or is
here
I
that I
understand
have lived.
Or is I understand
So
what you're saying.
wait, I then think the only thing that would solve this problem is when there is equal development. Okay, maybe not equal development, but development across board,
states.
across all states. Like you go to Benue. What is how the level of development there is? Is growing. You go to Kaduna. You go to Kogi states. You go to different states in different regions.
this development won't happen if the people keep migrating at this rate.
Sadly, individuals cannot champion development without government support.
Sure.
And that's why I said it earlier that is why we need to begin to hold state governors accountable for the development of their states.
But who will hold state governors accountable when the person that's supposed to hold state government accountable is not in the states?
I don't have to be in the states
hold on.
to call my governor out.
Let me now tell you, a number of times our decisions, our rights, our votes, sometimes we
God.
see it as one vote, but we do not understand that is the one vote that contributes to the 100 votes that is needed to do it.
Exactly.
If you remove that one from it will not work.
That's why I tell people
We
everybody go and
always
vote.
think about our rights as isolated, just me, only me. But if we don't add you to it will not work.
It won't work.
It will not work.
So, Oiza,
And
I think
that you have a right, you feel like you have a right to benefit from the place where you move to and you live, does not
Or
mean
where
that
you
the
were
people who are from that place, they also will not feel like they're entitled because they are from that place.
Of course they are.
and don't
So
forget
it won't work then.
and don't forget that most people that are enjoying the benefits in Lagos State are not indigenes of Lagos State, because the indigenes of Lagos State are also screaming. So what are you?
Then
now
if you're not
saying?
enjoying the
what's
benefits
stopping
of Lagos as an indigene of Lagos, then you are the
This
problem.
is not even just
No,
about
what I mean
Lagos.
is
You are the
indigenes
problem.
are
If
not
you are the
enjoying-
indigene of
What's stopping
anywhere
them from
and you're
enjoying
not
it?
enjoying the benefits of that
See,
place,
there are a
you
lot
are
of
the
things.
problem.
No. You can't say that. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of
Yeah.
things. There are a lot of things that could prevent you from enjoying it as an indigene.
Like,
for example, educational exposure.
it's still your problem.
It's still
Who
your
stopped
problem.
you from being educated? It's not non-indigenes that stopped you from being educated.